because you never liked me anyway. You never fucking mattered. And why would I care about what you think if you have nothing to do with the success that I'm having in my life? You know,
is it ever easy to come tell you sorry? Are you forgiving at all? Like if somebody says sorry?
If they haven't gone over my mark, I'm a Cancer, right? There's certain things that they do, and I can hold on to things better.
50 Cent just got real about his health, and fans can't stop talking about it. The hip-hop icon, actor, and mogul opened up about his recent struggles, revealing that he's been privately battling colon cancer. Curtis 50 Cent Jackson II, now 50 years old, sat down on NBC's Today Show on January 1st, 2026, breaking his silence after fans noticed something was off in a video from last October. He looked way slimmer, and people started to speculate, but 50 made sure to set the record straight.
And other people can, to be honest with you. Like, sometimes things get older, these people don't get older. Like, I still look at them when you said what you said about me, like, I'm looking going, okay. And it might have been how you felt at the moment and it passed. And I look at them and I'm going, yeah, like what? Like, I don't know why you felt that way.
He told viewers his weight loss had nothing to do with the illness and made it clear he's staying strong through it all. He spoke about how this past year tested him like never before, yet he's holding on to gratitude and focus every step of the way. This is the same Grammy-winning artist who dropped Get Rich or Die Trying in 2003, killed it in Escape Plan 2013, and survived 9 gunshot wounds back in 2000.
All roads lead to Shreveport.
Yeah, man, we gonna give it to the jury, man. We gotta get to the money now. It's time to get to the money. You see, I got that hole in my sock. I'm hungry again. I'm hungry. Got to get to it now. Let's go, man. Straight to Shreveport like this. I'm gonna get me one of these cigars. We'll sit there, we're gonna get something to smoke.
Plus, he's a proud dad to his 29-year-old son, Marquise Jackson. Through every storm, 50's proving he's still built different. And let's not forget his youngest, 13-year-old Sire Jackson, his son with model Daphne Joy. These days, 50 Cent has been putting more energy into his family and giving back through charity, showing a softer, more grounded side of himself. But even for someone as tough as him, the past year pushed his limits like never before. I've been dealing with colon cancer since last summer, he revealed during the Today Show interview. He explained that he faced the diagnosis privately and took action immediately, with strong support from his loved ones.
So I can't look and I go, okay, well, maybe this person's just not somebody that I'm supposed to have a relationship with. Like a lot of people, like, they have to be significant to you for them to matter. I understand that. If they're just out there, it's just, what is their, like, each person's personal opinion, you know, okay, you don't care and you really don't matter in my world, my universe, because you're saying you never liked me. Right. If you never liked me, a person could.
After some routine screenings showed irregularities, 50 underwent surgery to remove polyps and began managing his condition with chemotherapy and serious lifestyle changes. He kept all of this quiet for months, which explains why fans noticed he'd been living more under the radar lately. That low-profile life was a big shift for a man known for his powerhouse presence as the producer behind Power on Stars and other hit shows. In fact, on October 22nd, 2025, he was supposed to attend the annual charity gala in New York, a major event supporting youth programs in underserved neighborhoods through his G-Unity Foundation, one of his biggest passions. Sadly, he had to cancel last minute due to a bad case of gastroenteritis. I was really disappointed not to make it, but my family stepped in.
Relax. I'm gonna think about who lost the money, because I'm gonna get that money. I'm gonna go to Shreveport and we're gonna do it. What in the puffy? What the fuck?
He said with a grateful smile. Even through sickness and setbacks, 50 proves he's still the definition of resilience. When 50 couldn't make it to the gala, his family took the stage, and the crowd gave them a standing ovation. All the love that was meant for me went to them instead, he said proudly. But what really shook fans came afterward. That same October, 50 posted a video on Instagram meant as a message to the event's attendees, and the clip went viral fast. He looked noticeably thinner, and the internet went into a frenzy. Comments poured in like, "You okay, Fifth?" and praying for your health. Everyone wanted to know what was going on. When he finally sat down with Today hosts Hoda Kotb and Jenna Bush Hager, 50 didn't hold back. "I've lost weight, but it's not because of the cancer," he clarified. He explained the sudden change was actually from that brutal gastroenteritis episode which left him dehydrated and unable to eat properly for weeks.
In the Power series, I was receiving $17,000 to be an executive producer, to be a reoccurring character, to be almost the music supervisor, to create the theme song for the show.
You paid
$17,000 per episode. I get paid more to go to the nightclub and wave. I just wanted him to get pregnant with the idea that we have to have this baby.
So when it's $17,000 an episode, right? Just so everybody, why would you do it?
I wanted to make the show. I wanted to make it.
You wanted to tell that story.
No one in our culture has made any television, produced what they wanted.
It was rough, but I'm on the mend, he said, revealing that he dropped around 15 pounds but was slowly gaining it back thanks to a customized diet and workout plan designed by his medical team. Even after clearing up the rumors, 50 wanted to leave fans with something hopeful. He said he's feeling stronger every day and that his recovery is going better than expected. I feel a lot better than I did a few months ago, he shared with confidence. Colon cancer, the third most common cancer in the U.S., affecting over 150,000 Americans each year, can have much better outcomes when caught early. And 50's using his own story to remind people just how important that early detection really is. Doctors caught 50 Cent's cancer early, at stage 2, giving him a strong shot at recovery. He mentioned he's been exploring different treatment methods, though he kept the details private. Some fans believe this could include cutting-edge options like immunotherapy or targeted medicine, both common in today's modern treatments. Experts say survival rates for localized colon cancer are over 90%, but staying consistent with checkups and lifestyle changes is key to long-term health. What really stood out in the interview, though, was 50's unshakable optimism. That same drive that took him from the streets of Queens, New York, to becoming a global mogul worth around $40 million. He spoke with honesty about what this journey has demanded from him. The road ahead is longer than I imagined, he said. It takes more patience, discipline, and strength than I thought I had. I knew I was strong, but I didn't know I was this strong. When he wrapped up by saying, "I feel good," the entire studio erupted in applause. His positivity lit up the room, reminding everyone why he's been a survivor his whole life. This moment also echoed his past health advocacy. Like back in 2020, when he teamed up with organizations to encourage COVID-19 vaccinations in Black communities. Fans and celebs flooded social media with love and support, and even Snoop Dogg jumped in on Instagram to send his respect and prayers for 50's recovery.
The definition of gangster, when you have a clear definition of it, right, is you're choosing to do things his way. It can be outside of the parameters of even what the justice system says is right. Mm-hmm. It's gangster because he's choosing his own path and doing it his way.
Stay strong, brother. We got you, Snoop Dogg wrote, and the love didn't stop there. Actor Terry Crews, who starred alongside 50 in the Expendables series, chimed in too, saying, "Fifth's a fighter, always has been." Social media exploded with support as hashtags like #50Strong trended across platforms, pulling in thousands of heartfelt posts from fans sharing their own cancer stories and messages of encouragement while 50 continues his recovery. Through it all, 50 says his biggest source of motivation is his kids.
Now, that guy look at you and go, what? The corners made it where they look at acquiring your company. The option would be to just kill you to acquire it. Mm-hmm. To acquire that block, that corner you got. You know what I'm saying? And we already know somebody around you that'll take the pass.
Being there for my children keeps me going, he shared sincerely. Even though he's paused a few projects, including that rumored Power spinoff everyone's been waiting for, he's not stepping away for good. He's planning a slow but powerful comeback, possibly with new music that channels everything he's been through. His story is now a wake-up call about the importance of early cancer screenings, especially for anyone over 45, as the American Cancer Society recommends. 50 wants people to understand that catching health issues early can truly save lives, and of course,
the definition of gangster, when you have a clear definition of it, right, you're choosing to do things his way. It can be outside of the parameters of even what the justice system says is right. Mm-hmm. It's gangster because he's choosing his own path and doing it his way. Now, that guy look at you and go, what? The corners made it where
This isn't the first time the rap icons face the odds head-on. From growing up in a rough neighborhood to surviving 9 gunshot wounds, battling financial setbacks, and clashing with some of the biggest names in the game, 50's resilience has shaped him into more than just a rapper. He's a mogul, a survivor, and one of hip-hop's toughest legends who just keeps rising no matter what life throws at him.
Then we look and say, Wallow gonna be the problem, so we gotta get Wallow so Gil can run that corner. You see what I'm saying? And hit him will work. And now it's a part of our system that's going on like that. Not every dime. Who needs every dime? Oh, you just need the money that's flowing through when it's flipping. It's going through. You see what I'm saying?
My hand.
Yes.
Curtis James Jackson II, the man the world now knows as 50 Cent, was born on July 6, 1975, in the gritty South Jamaica neighborhood of Queens, New York. His mother, Sabrina, was just 15 when she had him, still a kid herself trying to survive in a world that gave her no breaks. Sabrina was a hustler deep in the street game during an era when crack cocaine was tearing through black communities across the country. She did what she had to do to make sure her son had food, clothes, and a fighting chance. But that kind of life came with real danger and heartbreak. Curtis's father wasn't around, leaving Sabrina to raise him completely on her own. Growing up without a dad left a gap that street life quickly tried to fill. The men he saw around him weren't teachers or role models. They were dealers, hustlers, and gang figures who showed power but not peace. There was no in-between, no example of a man who could be strong and stable at the same time. Then came the moment that would change everything. When Curtis was just 8 years old, he came home from school to tragedy. His mother was gone. Sabrina had been killed in what authorities suspected was a drug-related incident.
I can help myself, man. I know you know this person is. It's yours, man.
That loss became the turning point in young Curtis's life, setting him on a path where survival wasn't a choice. It was the only option. The case of Sabrina's death was never solved, but for an 8-year-old boy, that kind of trauma changes everything. Finding his mother gone shattered Curtis's world in an instant. Childhood ended that day. The innocence, the sense of safety, the belief that parents could always protect their kids, all of that disappeared with Sabrina's death. From that moment on, Curtis had to grow up fast, long before he ever should have had to. After losing his mom, he went to live with his grandparents. They loved him deeply, but they were older and already struggling to keep up. Raising a grieving, angry boy in a neighborhood drowning in drugs and violence wasn't easy. Curtis started acting out, and by 12, he was already stepping into the same streets his mother once walked. At just 12 years old, Curtis began hustling, selling drugs as a means to survive. By his teenage years, he was in deep, making fast money that seemed impossible to earn any other way. For him, dealing wasn't about luxury. It was about control in a life where he'd lost everything. But even he knew the streets were dangerous and unpredictable. One wrong move could mean jail, betrayal, or worse. Still, young Curtis kept moving forward, trying to carve out a path in a world that had given him nothing but chaos. Growing up in the streets of Queens, Curtis was taught early that violence was just part of survival and trust could get you hurt. That harsh reality shaped the way he saw the world, where every move was about power, protection, and staying one step ahead. The name 50 Cent wasn't just a catchy stage name. It came from a real Brooklyn hustler named Kelvin Martin, known for robbing anyone, even other dealers. Curtis chose that name as a symbol, a statement that he'd take from anyone by any means necessary to survive. To him, 50 Cent wasn't just a name, it was a mindset. It represented toughness, survival, and a refusal to be broken by the pain and loss he'd faced. But that same armor that kept him alive also built walls around him, making it hard to trust or truly connect with people. As a teen and young adult, Curtis faced the law more than once, arrested multiple times and bouncing between boot camp and jail. Each run-in with the system reinforced the idea that the world saw him as nothing more than another criminal statistic. Society wasn't offering him guidance, just punishment. And in that endless cycle, Curtis began to believe his only path forward was through the very streets that had already taken so much from him. So even while hustling in the streets, Curtis had bigger dreams burning inside him. He knew deep down that he was meant for more than just dealing. He had something real to say. Growing up surrounded by hip-hop culture in Queens, he started writing rhymes, using music as a way to pour out his pain and turn his story into something powerful. His raw talent, natural flow, and life experience made his voice stand out from the start. Music wasn't just a hobby, it was his escape route, his shot at a new life. In the late 90s, his grind finally paid off when he caught the attention of Jam Master Jay from the legendary group Run DMC. Jay saw potential in him and took Curtis under his wing, becoming not just a mentor, but a father figure he'd never had. Jay taught him everything about the industry, from writing and recording to understanding the business side of the game. That mentorship changed Curtis's entire direction. For the first time, he had a man guiding him who wasn't trying to pull him into trouble, but instead lift him up. Through Jay, he got a taste of what real discipline and ambition could do. By 2000, Curtis dropped his first major single, lighting up the underground scene and landing a deal with Columbia Records. He was finally on his way, proof that even someone forged by the streets could rise above them. It finally looked like Curtis's dreams were coming true. He had one foot out of the streets and both hands on his music career. But just when it seemed like everything was falling into place, life hit him with the kind of violence that nearly ended it all. On May 24th, 2000, while sitting in a car outside his grandmother's house in Queens, another vehicle pulled up beside him, and suddenly, gunshots exploded through the air. Curtis was struck 9 times at close range. Bullets tore through his hand, arm, hip, legs, chest, and even his face. One bullet went through his cheek and out the other side, permanently changing his voice and leaving him with that distinct slur the world would later recognize instantly in his music. It was a brutal ambush, a clear hit, and somehow Curtis lived through it. He spent almost 2 weeks in the hospital, endured several surgeries, and went through months of painful rehab just to walk and talk again. But the physical pain wasn't the only wound he carried. Just as he was fighting to recover, Columbia Records, the label that had promised to make him a star, dropped him. Overnight, he went from the next big thing to someone the industry was too scared to touch. That betrayal cut deep, but it also lit a fire inside him. 50 Cent wasn't done, not by a long shot. The betrayal from Columbia Records hit Curtis harder than any bullet ever could. He had just survived a near-death attack, was living with constant pain, and dealing with deep trauma. Yet the label that once promised him the world dropped him like he didn't matter. The message was loud and cold. He was only valuable when he could make them money. Once he became a risk, they turned their backs without hesitation. That kind of abandonment cut straight to the heart. It confirmed everything the streets had already taught him, that trust could be dangerous and loyalty was rare. With the industry shutting its doors, Curtis found himself completely blackballed. No label wanted to work with him. Everyone saw him as too controversial, too violent, and too risky. But instead of giving up, he doubled down. He hit the underground hard, dropping raw, street-level mixtapes that told his truth with zero filters. His music was full of pain, anger, and determination. The sound of a man who'd been betrayed by everyone but refused to break. Those gritty tapes started blowing up in the streets, catching the attention of none other than Eminem, who was blown away by 50's hunger and honesty. Eminem passed his music to Dr. Dre, and together they knew they were looking at something special. Soon, the two icons signed Curtis, now fully stepping into his identity as 50 Cent, to their powerhouse labels. The man the industry tried to erase was about to rewrite hip-hop history. That signing was more than a deal. It was Curtis's resurrection. After being left for dead, both on the streets and in the industry, he got his second shot at life. In 2003, 50 Cent dropped his debut under Eminem and Dr. Dre, Get Rich or Die Trying, and it exploded. The album sold nearly 900,000 copies in its first week and went on to move over 12 million worldwide. Every track hit hard. Songs like In Da Club and 21 Questions became instant anthems. Just like that, 50 went from underground exile to one of the biggest names in hip-hop. His comeback story was as powerful as his lyrics. The streets couldn't stop talking about it. But with fame came new kinds of pressure, and soon 50 found himself in the middle of serious drama. His beefs with other rappers, and especially Ja Rule and the Murder Inc. crew, blew up fast. What started as music industry tension turned into something way bigger, blurring the line between competition and real danger. Diss tracks were flying, threats were exchanged, and every move 50 made seemed to come with risk. That whole beef culture wasn't just for headlines, it had real consequences. The demand to always look untouchable, to never back down, became exhausting and risky. 50 had fought his way to the top, but staying there meant navigating a world where one wrong word could turn into another war. In the world 50 Cent was dominating, even the smallest insult could turn into a full-blown war. Every diss, every side comment, every stare down had the potential to spiral into chaos. 50's rise to fame was built on his fearless attitude, his refusal to ever back down or show weakness. He had built his empire by being tougher, louder, and more relentless than anyone else. But that same energy that made him unstoppable also made peace nearly impossible. Then came another heartbreak that hit him hard. In 2002, just months before his major label debut, tragedy struck. Jam Master Jay was murdered in his Queens recording studio, execution style. The case went unsolved for years, leaving nothing but questions and pain behind. For 50, this wasn't just another headline, it was personal. Jay wasn't just a mentor, he was family. Another father figure taken too soon, another piece of his support system gone to senseless violence. Jay's death shook 50 to his core, but in hip-hop culture, showing grief or pain was seen as weakness, and weakness wasn't something 50 could afford. So instead of breaking down, he buried it deep, stacking that pain on top of all the others he had already carried for years. He turned every ounce of hurt into fuel for his grind, pouring it into his music and his work. But inside, the trauma was building, layer after layer, unspoken, unhealed, and waiting for its moment to surface. 50 Cent's relationship with his son Marquise has been one of the most heartbreaking and complicated chapters of his personal life. Marquise was born in 1997 to Shaniqua Tompkins, 50's girlfriend at the time. In the beginning, 50 seemed determined to be the kind of father he never had. He wanted to break the cycle, to give his son the love and guidance he missed growing up. But over time, things between him and Shaniqua started to fall apart, and what began as a private disagreement exploded into a bitter, very public custody battle. That constant fighting between his parents left deep scars, and as Marquise got older, he grew closer to his mother. Their bond pushed him further away from his dad, and eventually, the relationship between father and son completely collapsed. What once looked like a strong family connection turned into one of hip-hop's most talked about feuds. Both have gone back and forth on social media. Marquise accusing 50 of being an absent father, while 50 fired back with comments that many fans found cold and harsh. For 50 Cent, this painful rift is more than just a family issue, it's his biggest personal regret. Despite all his fame and power, he couldn't escape the same cycle of broken fatherhood he once vowed to end. Watching their relationship fall apart in public has been tough, especially for fans who remember when he spoke about wanting to do better. It's a reminder that even legends carry wounds that money or fame can't fix. The fact that 50 Cent, and a man who grew up without a father, has now lost his bond with his own son feels like a heartbreaking full circle moment. It's a tragic reflection of how pain can echo through generations when it's never truly healed. Despite all his strength and success, breaking that cycle of abandonment proved harder than any business deal or rap battle he's ever faced. His romantic life hasn't been any easier. His relationship with Shaniqua Tompkins ended in public chaos, and his later engagement to model Daphne Joy eventually fell apart too. Over the years, he's been connected to a few high-profile women, but none of those relationships turned into something lasting or peaceful. The constant conflict, mistrust, and emotional distance seemed to follow him, scars left over from a lifetime of betrayal and survival. Then in 2015, another shock hit headlines. 50 Cent filed for bankruptcy. Fans were stunned. This was the same man everyone believed was sitting on hundreds of millions. But behind the flashy lifestyle and success stories, things were way more complicated. The move was partly strategic, a legal step to manage massive debts and lawsuits, but it also showed just how chaotic his financial world had become. He'd made huge money, but also spent big, took risky investments, and got tangled in expensive court battles. It was another reminder that even at the top, 50 was still fighting to stay in control of his business, his image, and his peace of mind. The bankruptcy hit 50 Cent hard, as in not just financially. For a man who built his entire brand around being rich, powerful, and untouchable, it was pure humiliation. The title "Get Rich or Die Trying" suddenly felt like a cruel joke. Fans started questioning everything. Was the luxury lifestyle real or just a performance? Were the mansions, the cars, and the diamonds part of a carefully built image instead of genuine wealth? For someone who had measured success in money and status, the loss shook his entire identity. But the bankruptcy wasn't just about bad luck or money mismanagement. It came with ugly legal drama. One of the biggest cases involved a lawsuit after he posted an intimate video of a woman online without her permission, something he later claimed was retaliation during a feud. The case was brutal and cost him millions, exposing a side of him that many found troubling. It showed a willingness to go too far, crossing lines that had nothing to do with music battles or business rivalries. On top of that, 50 faced lawsuits from former partners, friends, and associates, people who accused him of cheating them out of money or breaking business deals. Each case chipped away at his reputation, showing that behind the bravado and tough image, there were cracks forming in the empire he'd built. For a man who once seemed unstoppable, it was a painful fall, and the world was watching every move. Looking at 50 Cent's story, a clear pattern starts to appear. He's a man who struggles to keep peace in both business and personal life. To him, everything feels like a battlefield. He treats business like war, where trust is rare and every move could be a trap. Somewhere along the way, the line between healthy competition and unnecessary cruelty got blurred. Each lawsuit, every feud, seems to represent another relationship gone bad, another bridge burned beyond repair. The physical scars from being shot 9 times never fully healed either. 50 still deals with chronic pain, limited movement in one of his hands, and ongoing dental problems from the bullet that went through his face years ago. Those injuries aren't just physical reminders, they're emotional ones too. Constant proof of how close he came to losing his life. Living with that kind of trauma has likely fed into his hyper-alert, always-on-guard mindset. Trust doesn't come easy when you've been through what he has. Still, 50 managed to rebuild himself in a major way, moving into TV and film production and striking gold with his hit series Power and its spin-offs. But even in that world of success, the same pattern of drama followed. He's feuded with networks, clashed with actors, and called out producers, often taking his frustration straight to social media for the world to see. His online posts, filled with sharp jabs and taunts, show a man still wrestling with deep-rooted pain, using humor and confrontation as his armor. These days, 50 Cent's social media presence has become just as famous and infamous as his music. He's known for posting things meant to embarrass or humiliate the people he's fallen out with, ex-girlfriends, former business partners, and even his own son. His online jabs are sharp, often ruthless, and sometimes feel less like strategy and more like something personal, a deep need to prove control, to win no matter who gets hurt. The way he mocks other people's pain, like making jokes about their financial problems or legal issues, gives the world a glimpse into his mindset. It's as if seeing others stumble helps him feel powerful again, a way to cover the pain he's never really healed from. That constant urge to tear others down reflects something much darker beneath the surface. Years of unprocessed anger, grief, and a belief that life is just survival of the fittest. In the 50s world, everyone's an opponent, and their pain becomes his victory. But behind all that noise and confidence lies a deep loneliness. Despite his fame, wealth, and success, most of the people who once stood beside him are gone. His bond with his son is broken, and genuine friendships seem rare, replaced by business deals and short-term alliances. The walls he built to protect himself from betrayal have kept him safe, but they've also left him standing alone. For all his power, 50 Cent's greatest battle might just be the fight to let someone in. In recent years, 50 Cent's political takes and online posts have stirred up major controversy. His public support for Donald Trump and his outspoken comments about taxes rubbed a lot of fans the wrong way. Many felt disappointed, saying he seemed more focused on protecting his own money than standing up for the community that helped him rise. His views revealed a side of him that some saw as disconnected, a man whose political mindset hadn't grown along with his wealth and influence. Beyond politics, the shadow of violence still lingers around 50 and the hip-hop world he helped shape. While he's not directly responsible for everything that happens in the culture, his music, public feuds, and tough persona have undeniably fueled that energy. By glorifying confrontation and rarely backing down, he helped create an image that's both powerful and dangerous. And in real life, those images have consequences. People have lost their lives in conflicts tied to rap rivalries and street feuds linked to the same culture 50 came from. As for his health, most of what he deals with now stays private, but it's clear his body has been through a lot. Not just from the gunshot wounds, but from years of street stress, non-stop work, and living in survival mode. The pressure, paranoia, and constant fight to stay on top take a toll over time. Even though he doesn't show it publicly, the scars, both physical and emotional, tell a story of a man who's still fighting battles long after the world stops seeing them. The truth is, the body keeps score. And decades of trauma don't just disappear. All the pain, stress, and chaos 50 Cent has lived through are written into his body, showing up in ways fame and money can't hide. What's tragic is how little he's ever been able, or maybe even allowed, to process that pain publicly. Coming from a culture where showing emotion can be seen as weakness, especially for black men, 50 learned to wear his survival like armor. His toughness became both his weapon and his shield. But underneath that unshakable image is a man who's never fully grieved. Not for his mother, not for his mentor Jam Master Jay, not for all the people he's lost along the way. He turned every wound into drive, every heartbreak into ambition, but never into healing. And that takes its toll, even on someone as powerful as him. When it comes to mentoring younger artists, 50's legacy is just as complex. He's given plenty of up-and-coming rappers big opportunities through his label and influence, but he's also been known to cut people off fast if they disappoint him. Former protégés have even found themselves on the receiving end of his public call-outs and feuds. It's another reflection of how control defines his relationships. When he doesn't have it, things fall apart. So what will 50 Cent's legacy really be? Is he the ultimate survivor, proof that you can rise from the impossible, or a warning of what happens when success replaces healing? Maybe he's both, a man who conquered everything but peace. Can we really celebrate 50 Cent's rise without recognizing the damage that came with it, both to others and to himself? His nonstop need to flex his success, prove his relevance, and remind the world of his power speaks to something deeper than confidence. It suggests a man still trying to silence the insecurities that have haunted him since childhood. Someone who's truly at peace doesn't need to constantly flaunt money online or mock others' downfalls to feel strong. What looks like confidence might just be pain dressed up in bravado. The truth is, 50's entire worldview was shaped by trauma. Losing his mother so young, growing up fatherless, surviving a violent neighborhood, and then nearly dying in that shooting, all of it built a man who sees the world as dangerous and relationships as temporary deals. That mindset helped him survive the streets, but it also robbed him of the chance to really connect or feel safe with anyone. Trust became a weakness, and vulnerability turned into something he refused to show. And while his business empire is massive, with millions earned, hit shows produced, and companies launched, the success hasn't brought peace. He's built an empire, yes, but he still seems restless, angry, and locked in battle with everyone around him, including himself. For all his wins, 50 Cent's life raises a hard question. What's the point of conquering the world if you're never free from your past? The American dream promises that success fixes everything. But for 50 Cent, it only brought new battles while the old wounds stayed wide open. His fame and fortune couldn't heal the pain that shaped him. When you look at the way he talks about women, in his lyrics, his interviews, and especially on social media, it's clear there are deep scars underneath the bravado. He often paints women as users, betrayers, or trophies instead of real people deserving of trust and respect. That attitude didn't come out of nowhere. It's rooted in loss, abandonment, and years of broken trust. His mother's death left a hole that was never filled, and every betrayal after that only made him colder. That same emotional wall shows in his relationship with his son Marquise, the one wound that seems to haunt him most, even if he'll never admit it publicly. The fallout with his son looks like his biggest regret. Deep down, there's probably a father who misses his child but doesn't know how to rebuild what's been destroyed. It's the same cycle of pain he once swore he'd end, only now he's the one trapped inside it. As 50 steps further into his late 40s, he's still grinding, producing shows, launching businesses, staying relevant. But the fights keep coming, the circle around him gets smaller, and the loneliness grows louder. The real question now isn't how much more he can build, it's whether he can finally find peace after a lifetime of surviving. Success without peace, wealth without happiness, survival without healing. These aren't victories. They're reminders of what was lost along the way. 50 Cent's story is legendary, but it's also deeply tragic. Yes, he survived 9 bullets. Yes, he rebuilt himself after the industry left him for dead. And yes, he made millions and became one of the most influential figures in hip-hop. But beneath the fame and fortune lies a man carrying scars that no amount of money can erase. Curtis James Jackson II escaped the violence and poverty of his past, at least on the surface, but the emotional wounds never left. The child who found his mother gone never received the therapy or care he desperately needed. The teen who turned to the streets never learned how to face pain without fighting back. And the young man who was shot 9 times turned that trauma into drive, but never into healing. Every success became a way to outrun the pain, but the pain always kept up. He survived, no doubt, and survival is powerful. But survival without peace of mind comes at a heavy cost. Behind every diss track is buried grief. Behind every flashy business deal is a man still trying to fill an empty space that money can't touch. The toughest part of 50's story isn't the battles he fought. It's the truth that behind that armor of toughness stands a wounded kid who never learned how to heal, and a man still searching for what peace really means. The 9 bullets didn't kill Curtis James Jackson III, but in some ways, they destroyed the chance for him to ever truly be whole again. He lived through the shooting, but ever since, it's like he's been dying slowly, piece by piece. Every burned bridge, every public feud, every act of toughness that kept him from showing real emotion has chipped away at him bit by bit. The bullets didn't just wound his body, they hardened his soul. 50 Cent won the war for survival, no question. He clawed his way out of the streets, turned pain into power, and built a global empire from nothing. But somewhere in that climb, the fight never stopped. He became trapped in the same armor that once saved him, unable to take it off long enough to breathe. The same toughness that made him untouchable also made him unreachable. That's the real tragedy. Not the violence, not the money lost, not even the fame's pressure. Is that he survived everything life threw at him, only to lose the one thing he's never been able to buy back: peace. Behind the legend of 50 Cent is Curtis Jackson, a survivor who won every battle but maybe never learned how to stop fighting. So what do you think? Can someone like 50 ever find peace after everything he's endured? Drop your thoughts below, hit that like button, subscribe for more deep dives, and I'll catch you in the next one.